Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto, the party leaders, stakeholders present, good afternoon. Good afternoon once more.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so I must say I'm proud to be here, and I'm happy that I'm breaking the monotony. We have been seeing voices of the men, and now a woman is here. Sini vizuri. My name is Martha Amollo. I am a teacher in Trans Nzoia, Cheptumbelio Primary School. I am a mother, I'm a mentor, I'm a counselor, and above all, I am a unionist, having been the Assistant Executive Secretary, NAT Nairobi branch at some time. So I'm going to speak on strategic intervention programs, and you'll all agree with me that majority of school-going children are in marginalized regions. We also acknowledge that gender and disability are a critical determinant in the access, retention, and progression of education in our society. So, Your Excellency, we are proposing, therefore, because of these reasons, two reasons that I have given, that one, we provide, I know people will say it's already provided, but the incoming government should provide sanitary towels to girls in these regions. And the question is, which have also been asked as we talk about the marginalized regions, then the boy child will ask you, what are you giving us? Number two, we are talking of 100% of teenage mothers to go back to school after delivering their children, so that they can benefit from the education bursary, 100%. Because most times you find, if the father was paying the school fees, atamambia wewe ulishajifungua, I'll not pay. So they should benefit from the 100% from the education bursary. Number three, which I would really wish to emphasize, because we have teachers in those regions, sometimes they wake up and they have no children to teach. Why? The conditions there have forced the children to move away. So we are recommending the construction of low-cost boarding schools in arid and semi-arid areas. Your Excellency would also recommend that we develop a framework on multidisciplinary approach to assess, place, and support learners with special needs and disabilities, different disabilities. And therefore, the people in this room, I will request that we also change our attitude towards these learners. Number five, Your Excellency, we are recommending that we double the school feeding program. For example, if it is 2 million, make it 4 million, and even give some grants to the ECD. Before we even reach the arid areas, having taught in Nairobi for 24 years, I'll tell you that this school feeding program is important because it helps to retain learners in schools. You find that a learner will come to school not because of any other thing, but because they are able to get the food which is provided, the school feeding program. Your Excellency, I would also wish to say that we need, as teachers and learners, as an earlier speaker said here, conducive and safe learning environment. security in these security-prone areas. And when I talk about security in those prone areas, allow me, we were told it is only 4 minutes, but I'll request on affirmative action to be added a few minutes. So I would like to present to you, and Your Excellency, I want this teacher to be upstanding. Nelson Kirui, the only Kirui that I know. Now, Mr. Kirui was punitively transferred. He is the gentleman who received his letter outside the hospital when the wife was in the maternity theater. When he reached his new destination, this place was not safe. What am I saying? That we need security in such areas. So for that reason, he was not able to risk his life. He came back, did not report back, and therefore was interdicted. So Kirui is serving an interdiction for not going to a security area. So teachers and learners require conducive and safe environments. Finally, we are talking about teachers and in education policies and their social dialogues. We are talking about Chapter 41 of the labor laws. And here you will allow me to divert a bit. I wish to divert because I am a mother, and when a mother does not take care of the welfare of the others, then you cease to be a mother. So we cannot talk about orienting or re-engineering education without looking at the welfare of teachers. So this is where I want all of us to come together, talk to us, ask questions. As I will be winding up, I will give 3 instances. So one, we are talking about the welfare of the teacher, where policies are introduced and the teacher has got no voice. We have teachers who have gone back to school. They have their degrees. Your Excellency, I want to believe you did not become a doctor. You went back to school to get the doctorate. You had an undergraduate, you went for your master's, and you became a doctor. The same way, a sweeper in an institution will take time to learn, and then at the end of the day, we find that that sweeper becomes the director of that institution. So teachers have taken their time to go back to school, and we are saying that they should be promoted on that basis. When an employer says that today, I'm not recognizing your degree, I want you to go back to school for 30 years, and without promotion, Your Excellency, I think our new government under your leadership should do away with that. Number 2, we are talking about Chapter 41 of the labor movements. Now today, we will not go on strike because of money. Today, we will go on strike because of policies that are not allowing us to be effective in our work. Policies that will require you to do clerical duties, policies that will want you to be away from your family, and policies that are intimidating. I wish to bring to your attention, maybe if you didn't know, maybe you know, just to remind you, that when issues come up and their education involved, teachers should be involved. Why am I saying this? Previously, when CBC came, we are not saying it is a bad curriculum, but we are saying that when teachers were not satisfied and they raised their voices, 247 were interdicted. Out of the 247, 9 died, and as we speak, about 42 have not been reinstated. So we want an environment where we are allowed to speak, we are allowed to talk in policy formulation. So that is that part where our voices need to be heard. And I wish to bring to your attention that when we have unions, unions are not there to fight the government. They are there to agree with the government for the better welfare of the workers. So as I speak this afternoon, I don't know if our NAT, our KUPPET was invited, and if they are there, then they are silent. They are silent. They are not speaking for the Kenyan teacher. So for that reason, a pressure group came up, led by myself. Fortunately or unfortunately, we spoke up against punitive policies, resulting in our punitive transfers. Because I'm calling it punitive, if it is not punitive, why was a government vehicle driven to my small school, to a classroom teacher, to deliver the transfer letter? So we don't want punitive policies in the education sector. Last but not least, I know I have a lot to speak, and this education forum, Your Excellency, I would request that teachers should visit you. Unfortunately, it is a working day. I'm even scared. Maybe from here I'll not be having my job, because we are not supposed to be here on a working day, though I'm having a permission, but somebody may change the story simply because I'm in Kenya Kwanza. So what I'm saying as I wind up, our first speaker talked about it. And Mr. Indimuli, I appreciate you for talking about it. There is this animal, the big elephant in the house, delocalization. I'm going to give you 3 instances, and I'm going to give my own example where we are together, and because of the nature of the other spouse's job, is already delocalized, working at the border of Kenya and Somalia. And so we agree as a family, but since my job does not allow me to be in one station, remain behind, take care of the children. When I have an off, I'll be coming. Then TSC wakes up and says, because you spoke against us, you spoke against this policy, we are taking you to the border of Kenya and Uganda. Where are the children left? With no father, with no mother. So this is a teacher whose salary is on loan and has to maintain 4 homes. Why am I saying 4 homes? I'm in Mount Elgon. My spouse is at the border of Kenya and Somalia. My children are in Nairobi because I have a candidate that I cannot move because he's already registered, and I have a rural home to take care. So even in Mount Elgon, I doubt if I'm effective. The second instance is of a teacher. So when I give my own example, I'm speaking for hundreds of thousands of other teachers. The second instance is a teacher who has been working for the commission for more than 3.5 decades. Today, she goes to the hospital using a medical cover that has been initiated by the employer. She is misdiagnosed. She is overdosed. Because of those 2 reasons, her condition moves from hypo to hyper, life-threatening. When she raises that issue, she is transferred to the border of Kenya and Tanzania. And this teacher, in her previous school, she lives 200 meters away from the school, where she cannot even walk. She uses a taxi. So today you are telling her to go and struggle that other end of the republic. And we are feeling the commission is not keeping to its policy of taking care of the aged, taking care of the health. Last but not least, as I sit down, and just as I've said, we need time to talk to you and the Kenya Kwanza government as teachers. A teacher is taken from Murang'a, and the teacher is taken to Narok South. The husband is taken from Murang'a and is taken to Masinga. Masinga is in Machakos, yes? And so what happens? The teacher goes to class and leaves the baby. She has gone to take care of the Kenyan children and has left her child in the house. So she gets a call to come back home. Your Excellency, I want you to picture this. When she gets home, she finds the neighbor's dogs have mauled her baby. So this is a teacher who is working for Kenyan children, but is unable to take care of the child. Next, she goes on maternity leave and decides that since my baby has gotten a mark, let me leave the baby with my mother-in-law. So she goes on maternity leave and comes back to report to work, only to find everything in her house is gone. Hana hata sufuria. Your Excellency, when your government comes in, we want you to look at such policies. This is killing the teachers.